See this ugly, depressed man? What do you think is wrong with him? Well, look closely. His lopsided monkey ears aren't packed with discreet, bassy music. Thanks to Raycon, he can briefly forget his pain and jam out to Post Malone with unrivaled, high-quality sound. Coming in at only half the price of competitors, the everyday E25 earbuds have been a staple in my kitchen routines and daily cleaning, with the bass and volume capable of drowning out dishwashers, vacuums, and existential dread. Click the link in the description to get 15% off your order, or go to buyraycon.com/runesmith and probably you should get a pair. For like 6 hours straight, you can forget about everything except Mongolian throat singing, and then survive while they charge, and then pop them back in for Gregorian chants. Again, that was buyraycon.com/runesmith. Thanks Raycon for a sponsor and a earbuds. Have you ever seen a funny little amoeba creature crawling around in 2 dimensions slapping around bacteria for fun? It's pretty relatable stuff. Here's something you maybe didn't want to know. Your white blood cells are dirty little amoeba creatures. They seek out bacteria, reach out with a sticky arm covered in goop, poke the little guy, and then pull him inside, reducing the bacteria to atoms because it led a cursed life. I mean, how dare it enter your body? But anyway, Kay Linkar and Theodore Simpson ripped open their chests and saw these adorable little clowns running around their innards and thought, what if was big and kill man? So the movie The Blob went up in the big house, and then little Gary Gyrate saw it, and he made Ooze. To actually explain the fundamental aspect of Ooze I took like 40 seconds to get to, is their digestive system, which is identical to that of an amoeba. They reach out with a pseudopod, or some other way to attach themselves to food, and then digest it inside themselves with highly corrosive guts. Here's how I kinda like to look at them. The planet is a big, unconscious living creature covered in us. And also other things. But it's got cave networks, which are a lot like blood vessels, and inside those caves and tunnels are the cleanup crew. The giant but simple defenders that eat what others won't or can't. Oozes squeeze through thin cracks in the walls, cling to ceilings, or slink through caves, always in search of something to dissolve. They can naturally detect movement and warmth because a warm body has more nutrients going on than a dead rat covered in mold and poop that I left on it when I found it. It wasn't my poop though, I was just carrying it. But these things don't have a preference, and they will eat seasoned veterans and poopy dead rats all the same. The first part is a problem though, because usually we are adventurers, probably. I'll go over a few more things they have in common before we jump into biological variety, the first of which is what they can eat. Organic material? Check. Processed foods like stale goldfish? Bad for you, but check. Rocks, coins, and magic? Usually not, but they can't poop it out. I mean, I can't. I ate like 70 pennies when I was 6 and I never saw them again. But just like an ooze, I bet if you set me on fire, you'd eventually find those 70 pennies and keep them for yourself. Sadly, unlike me as far as you know, all oozes were created by Juicy Bleck, one of the only sentient blobs out there and also a demon prince. Let's get started. Black pudding. Not the nightmarish blood sausage, but the nightmarish blood-drinking fetishy latex ooze featured here, eating alternate universe Shrek. Hiding in dark shadows, these corrosive symbiotes can eat metal. And anything, actually, aside from igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic rock. One cool little detail about them is that if lightning strikes them, or some idiot slashes at them, you now get to deal with 2 puddings at once. Also in Sybil's Codex, I created one where it's a super small section of a black pudding that Drow use for torture. It's pretty cool, right? Go check it out. Grey Ooze. One that I was actually the least familiar with, and is the least deadly and the least expanded on. They apparently aren't spawned from Jewish Iblis, instead forming when chaos meets stone. The stone turns into a sort of living mercury that functions like a snake. This is also one of the few oozes that can munch through metal, i.e. your sword. So good luck beating a liquid acidic brick with fisticuffs. Let me know when you're planning to have your funeral. I'll stop by in a black coat with an umbrella, rain or sun. Just make sure to cater. I don't like onions or tomatoes, so maybe have some variety. Also, sorry you died. Ochre jelly. Ochre is just the color. I actually got it mixed up with ichor, which is a golden god's blood and an item in Terraria. But these yellow blobs aren't really too special. They're able to split up like black pudding and slip through cracks, but interestingly enough, they can't consume much more of anything than just flesh. They even leave wood and bones behind, which in my opinion is just a really bad way of hiding your territory. Your hunting tactics should be secret, and no one should know that you're here. They do, however, otherwise hunt like wildcats. They trail and wait for stragglers in groups so that they don't have to risk their lives fighting. Now on to the crowd favorite, beloved by Jacob because poking them is fun. Good ol'... Oh, sorry, wait, let me turn up the opacity to 300%. Jelly Cube. These things sit still in waiting, almost completely invisible due to their transparency, and some tiny idiots walk up and slip right in. Then they get to float around, almost in zero gravity, as their flesh is consumed by digestive enzymes. Isn't nature beautiful? They're good for combat because they literally take up exactly 10 by 10 feet, and they can eat any number of creatures that fit inside them. Honestly, early Adventure Time did a really great job illustrating them. Okay, cool, that's another video. Oh. Thank you, Voltage Amp Goodarm and Mortal Skylar, for giving me more work. Let's start with the lesser-known abomination, the Slithering Tracker. Holy shit, these things are a ritual transformation? Okay. Deep-rooted in revenge, similar to how a wraith works, you do this thing to get even, not to evolve. So classically, you take a sip of evil juice, do a dance, and sing some funny words like... Then all the moisture and the vengefulness are water bent out of your body, and mummification is instantaneous. As a slinky track, you find whoever fucked you over, and then latch onto their heart and basically hijack their blood while suffocating them with a big wet kiss. But as with revenge, you never really actually win. Once that first assassination's over, these things still persist, running around and killing people till they're killed. That's pretty neat. Ooblex. Just slap Mind Flayer motives and methods with the hunger of an ooze, and you get these poke-evolving grub buckets. They hunger for memories, above all else, and use them as an educational meal to get more. They grow with food, and eventually are able to fucking clone people to prank new food. If they get too big, they poop out a new Ooblex, or a Pooblex, and those things are left to grow on their own. These cloned humanoids can actually leave the massive ooze, but they have to stay attached by a tether. They also have a bit of a tell. They smell like someone ripped ass. Fire and brimstone. The wrath of God and the scent of processed Taco Bell. It's also neat that the big ones can make several clones at once. Or maybe it isn't neat, that's just really efficient and deadly. So yeah, that's basically all the oozes. Thanks for the views. I'm gonna cruise on over to the fridge and choose some booze to abuse. I paid my dues to the mighty ooze, and lit the fuse to amuse the views. I don't do well with social cues. This was just a ruse of a schmooze to prolong the views. I should see a therapist.